Hey there, movie buffs. Today, we're diving into the cinematic universe of Celestial Space, a stirring adventure that's sure to captivate your imagination. With its timeless story, breathtaking special effects, and awe-inspiring cinematic masterpiece, this film is a must-watch for any sci-fi enthusiast. So, let's dive in and explore the wonders of Celestial Space together. The story of Celestial Space is a timeless tale of courage, hope, and the endless possibilities of the universe. The film takes us on a thrilling journey through the cosmos, where every planet is a new world to explore. The special effects are truly mind-blowing, transporting us to a whole new dimension of cinematic excellence. Inflation does not allow a universe to collapse, only get bigger. Creation of the universe Event Horizon allowed a quick fix to cool down early developing particle matter from the Big Bang. That over time, even slower than earlier particles, gained critical heat pressure in only a few seconds of Earth time. After the event horizon formed, the clumps of decaying particle membrane matter frantically rapidly cooled down. But it was over time that the change took root. The Big Bang, which ingredients formed a gigantic and very deep warpage in the space field. Large enough the universe sits inside it, sustaining its matter with an orbiting halo atop, and is enough that the coldest temperatures of the outside space field rapidly entered into the matter field and interstellar bottom. Like the warpage, our planet creates a division or barrier between and around its surface crust to sustain its natural inhabitants. The early universe's thermos temperature also created a barrier dividing the solar thermos heat temperature. Now, the universe sustains an active and seemingly decreasing thermos heat due to the solar planetary bodies inside the warpage after the Big Bang, and divides this change in thermos density accruing inside, where outside and beyond the event horizon appear thermoscold temperature. Dark matter awaits the maturity of the new universe's cosmic birth. The fabric gravity that the cosmic material birth of the universe perceived, haven formed into a cosmic spin and space curvature, is what allows a sustaining wave of cold matter to pour inside the developing new universe warpage of space. The attack on hot matter inflating thermos birth rapidly tempered clumping matter into a fabric element that would have surely wasted away as radiated bright diminishing light if this event didn't occur. Inflation account for the few seconds during the Big Bang, but the after effects, it is the thermos blanketing that the interstellar space field measures 3K, also equal with the dark matter thermos cold. The Earth measure at only 4 billion years of age allows 11 billion years for the universe to secure after its creation, to have matured and spheres create inhabitants, life forms on some of its planets. The idea that the interstellar space field temperatures today measure equal in hot and cold resistant scales makes me feel that it has accrued in this manner over the billions of years it has endured as a universe of orbiting matter and stars. The clumps of matter scattering throughout empty space, and it is empty, like a collapsing sun, exploding due to the rush of cold-acting vacuum repulsive matter entering into the body on the collapse, taking in the empty space like a wave of water filling an empty cup, fragments pushed around. In the follow-up explosion due to this activity, shaped into rounded spheres spinning at infinitesimal great velocities, expanding from in the bubble of hot matter filling the space. The sphere's outer crest surface is only a shell from the dust of the explosion as they spun out into unknown territory space. After the Big Bang, and due to their hot center mass, they absorbed the smaller bombardment of fragments and dust that finally cleared over time. Dark matter having assumed the fall of the Big Bang X in equal proportion with the early planetary heat cosmic background, sustaining regions of planetary space wherein the universe axis spin a magical halo. Event horizon swirls above a very deep swirling universal warpage. That is why the most dense particle behavior is seated at the bottom of a boiling soup, and physically forming, and of which is pressure created the massive explosion of an inflated bubble inflating inside an empty, repulsive and infinite space field terrain, an event that, taken seriously, may be a common process to forming new universes abroad and from within a larger Dominion Union. What remains is a never-ending universe expansion of space being pushed out, its event horizon retaining balance from the motion of the matter itself created. A different direction of change in the universe's direction of life expectancies towards a cold death, or continuing question of doubt about the other side. For the most part, this theory answers the question to where the chemistry components came from of our universe. It does not predict its end, only the manifestation of an order that may not be sure of, and the idea that what lays beyond the universe's halos may be a new and greater terrain of stars, planets and galaxies we know nothing about. That providence is reward of the nature of space and its dominion. Behold, our universe may be the smaller expectancies of an ordinary cosmic star birth, and not at all what we think it to be. Meanwhile, Our birth bubble sits amidst a most wide and thick depth of a disk circulating material nature that is being dragged along by an infinite river of dark matter space field terrain mass of which chemistry is still unknown to us. But we do know one thing, and that is living in a local time coordinates we are in is because the river of the universe orbits on an axis at a velocity which allows its matter to be dragged along as it is in active spin. Will it ever slow down? It is unlikely, based on the fact that Einstein discovered that matter, and that means all matter, is limited to a specific velocity because of its mass energy, which in motion amongst other mass of the close to same quality attains a time measuring a specific weight also. This also includes not only solar matter, but the whole amount of the ultimate 4% of matter created from the Big Bang itself some 16 billion years behind us in time. The universe's history at any standard of time travel theory can never be changed. This concept about time travel in classical modern physics and in the dialogue of special and general relativity has eluded the investigative scientist for decades. But the fact is, traveling into the history past using time travel to change history is not possible. I wouldn't go on to say impossible, but I will explain to the reasons why it cannot be changed. As you have already read as a scientist that Albert Einstein, in his work on modernizing advanced physics in his lifetime of 1904, one of the questions that arose about special relativity was the possibility of time travel. His work opened a door about the universe that he was able to assert equations from and arose possibilities to about time travel from his theories. A part of his work included the theory about what today is known as the twin paradox. It explains that if a ship with one of the twins traveled through space at close to the speed of light for about an hour, when he came back to Earth his twin would be 80 years old, while he who traveled in the ship would have barely aged at all. Another paradox that arose out of special relativity theory was changing a personal history by killing a person's grandfather who lived years in the past of this world. The idea came when the person with a time machine, whether traveling by a spacecraft or a time machine, travels back in time to when his grandfather was living. The time traveler who was obsessed with himself wanted to erase his own life by killing his grandfather so he would have never lived. In relativity, this is what is called a true myth in science. But the fact is that nothing such could ever happen. This fact in the quantum physics study is asserted by the fact that time travel is a unique adventure, so to speak, that in a real time travel in a spacecraft and not a time machine. Traveling back in time through what is referred to as the universe's history, and I'll tell you why, is that fact that time travel is an event that eludes real time by traveling outside its realm. What this means is that it is not just the planet's Earth local time past and future that are at hand, but it is the universe itself. The universe itself means that a wormhole, as what is created by traveling at speeds greater than light, which is what has to occur to travel backwards into the past to change history, is actually an occurrence of the universe's forces and not just Earth's. To change any aspect about time is not possible because when a ship travels through time, he is venturing outside real time first, then re-entering back into a past time period. This type of travel means just that. The traveler re-enters a past time period in the past when his grandfather lived, where he wants to end his own life by killing him. He does so. He then should just disappear, right? He doesn't. Why? Because he travels back to his earlier time period where he finds himself still alive. What happened is he did travel back in time to the earlier period when his grandfather lived, and he did kill him. When he traveled back to his time, he found himself still alive. The reason of this mystery is this. When the traveler traveled back to kill his grandfather, he entered that time period. When he traveled back to his own time, he left the past behind himself in its own time frame. Nothing changed. The facts about time and time travel weigh on the fact that it is the universe that evolves and creates the time frames that exist in it, and it is not just the planets. Though the planets reside in the universe and are all a single deity of mass, it is the universe that causes the effect of the planets to rotate and the stars to glitter and the solar system to advance in the orbit it does. All this is retained in the universe's own orbitration. As the universe advances as a disk at the speed of light, the planets are dragged with it, but at a slower and independent speed. The weight of the universe thrust on its axis pulls the planetary matter in it into a curvature space momentum. We call this a planet orbit. The greater mass the star, the greater its warp effect in dark matter. The closer the planets to a sun's warp, it enters into its realm and is progressed on the Dominion planet's orbit, and so forth. As such, when a spacecraft travels at speeds close to or faster than the universe's spin on its axis, it warps the space around it also. Because of its mobility, a spacecraft has the advantage to travel faster than the universe's constant motion and travel backwards into its past or past venture of a specific planet's history, or it can travel with its motion. Traveling with its motion at the speed of light allows the spacecraft's crew to venture into what is called the infinite future, a space-time travel coordinates that only occurs at close to light speed itself. No more, no less. The speed of light is the coordinates to time travel in a spacecraft through empty space. A time machine is a curvature, vacuum matter, and a gravitational atmosphere that increases its mass and creates what is known today as a wormhole. Such a wormhole is being developed today in this era. What I have just explained to you, the reader of this book, is the inhabitant of what is known as interstellar gravitation. In quantum mechanics, it is called quantum gravity. In classical physics, the gravity force is the logical identification of why things fall on Earth. The quantum physics theory is a new definition of all these characters of advanced physics in a full expectation review. All the characters of the science of modern physics are proportionate to their extreme with the knowledge available to us today in the science.
An enlarging Epidus universe, introducing inflationary missing link. A weird enough form of repulsive gravity vacuum matter that caused inflation does not make up the present universe. Its energy was long before transformed into more mundane and familiar things, from a place and source beyond reconditioning. There have been many ideas about exactly how the energy of the inflationary vacuum converted zero are reheated into light. The same light that now red shifts by a very large amount and makes up the microwave background radiation we see it today. The large universe of vacuum matter became a large universe filled with radiation energy. Radiation has a large positive pressure, so the force of gravity became attractive, ending inflation. The inflationary theory seems to have answered most of all the questions about our universe's birth and start of expansion, but lacks a main ingredient. According to inflationary theory, the expansion stopped accelerating and started slowing down. As the radiation expanded, it cooled off and thinned out. After inflation, this model universe strongly resembles the large expanding radiation-dominated hot after Big Bang matter that describes our own universe today. But it lacks one critical ingredient. There is no matter in it. Vacuum decay creates precisely neutral radiation, creating exactly the same number of particles as antiparticles. Baryons and if the matter had expanded and cooled, the particles and their counterparts would annihilated each other, canceling out themselves, leaving only light as the last result. Finally, the universe has to go out of equilibrium to give particle-antiparticle emotions to act. During the creation stage of the Big Bang event, also known as inflationary period, the bubble formed in midfield, space dark matter terrain, building mass after the explosion banked into a swirl space curvature, motion causing it to form a universe event horizon. It is this change in inflation that allowed cold thermos temperatures from outside the bubble to procure the hot particle forming into clumps of matter. The expansion had to bring the particles out of their most random arrangement. Otherwise, particles all having the same mass interactions would stagnate in spite of their imbalance emotions. In a closed bubble universe, defined as the Big Bang, the change of stagnating the matter particles and antiparticle counterpart process must retain an added ingredients. That change came into play when we observed the bubble model of the universe's birth model in quantum physics. We find that in its creation stage, the cosmic egg was caught in a finite bubble, mass equilibrium, and in a repulsive, gravity space haven, the cosmic egg in the process asserted spin due to particle. Antiparticle imbalance, the ingredients of our universe's chemistry would not have reintegrated with its chemistry. A rival counterpart, universe body, a larger universe sitting outside its flat terrain. Surface field space beyond this smaller universe's mixture event horizon. What else can we really say lays beyond the event horizon, and why? Due to particle-antiparticle interaction, starting a repulsive pressure state at the atomic scale of creation, allowed it to form into a cosmic spin or swirl, which toppled into the greater universe abroad its horizon opening. The idea of what is known as an open universe, based on the fact that this universe is expanding into this event horizon, lays providence. An infinitive be stilled in much larger universe than this one. It is created from the process of creation is the same, and its ingredients never changes. Infinitesimal, unestablished. Energy pods generated from a infinite pastime passing through pure dark matter space at infinitesimal velocities, annihilating into collision with each other, increasing their magnetism field electronenergy. Interaction causing them to attach together and attract more energy pod and grow larger in the process. This beginning phase is called the Epidus, acts as the beginning of a long process of a cosmic embryo growth to critical mass. On the larger scale, the main force force of nature that controls motion at the celestial scale is gravity. Gravity defined today is seen only as an attractive force that holds matter at the atomic scale as well as solar systems and galaxies together throughout empty space. But there are other forms of gravity. There exists a gravity force of attraction and its opposite force of repulsion. Repulsion is the force that is making the celestial spheres spread apart. The effect of this repulsive force is centralized by the model called inflationary universe. Gravity shows that all forms of energy are equivalent and that all of them couple to gravity. Not only does matter create gravitation forces, but so do forces, even the forces that resist gravity, such as the pressure of matter that keeps the Earth from collapsing. It also contributes to a certain amount of gravity attraction, because gravity gets stronger between particles as they get closer together, that, at its strongest point, keeps matter denser, but there are places that even gravity can fail, and that is by more gravity. A universe that its matter is so dense that it does not change due to exterior changes beyond its scope. Laying in a sea of repulsive gravity motion, our universe is being scattered apart between its most dense galaxy regions at a distance. Inflationary theory does not explain the process of the change of equilibrium, flow to neither its event horizon nor its existence, and make it is the force of attraction and repulsiveness that self-defeats one another that so condense the material structure of our own universe to allow its rest place, to destroy itself or at least scatter it beyond its force of attraction. It is the divine nature of negative gravity that by itself created a runaway universe. In spite of the nature, it allows physicists to understand about it. The event horizon is the last clue to answer the final question to its mystery of creation.
So, if you haven't had the chance to watch Celestial Space yet, I highly recommend you do. It's a movie that deserves to be seen on the big screen. Thank you for joining me today on this cinematic journey. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more movie reviews and recommendations. Until next time, happy watching. FTL travel means time travel, says Albert Einstein. The universe is round like a balloon. Its diameter is 93 billion light-years across, measuring as a balloon 229,000 light-years. A ship travels in any direction will travel right back to the place it launched. A ship traveling at the speed of light can accelerate up to close to 450,000 miles a second if it had the engine capacity to do it. This does not violate relativity. It's based on the universe's length as a balloon for 150,000 miles a second, which allows it. Space is warp, not the celestial matter in it that doesn't change. But a ship's speed can zoom to close that to 0.7 light speed. Space is warp, meaning that it was stretched, curved, bent and blown up, creating a dark black hole that releases pressure from somewhere in the cosmos. Dark matter element. Matter survived without diminishing and lays on top of the warped space. What makes the matter in the universe to expand is the pressure from the hole in it. Space has been warped, and as consisting as an empty expanding vacuum has a 0-point vacuum ground density, but since it doesn't consist as a closed compartment as relativity insists it does, means that there exists no real limit to a ship velocity traveling on this expanding bubble. The galaxies orbit spreading at 0.7 miles a second per second away from each other at the edge of the universe. Physicists think that faster than light speeds in such a condition would illustrate unbalance in the galactic orbitation speed, meaning that the distance because of the expansion and its speed between galaxies is too much. We measure the distance between the galaxies and think how much they spread apart at 450,000 miles a second each second, as way fast and way far apart. It's all happening at the edge of the universe. The room between celestial sphere at the edge is the oldest area of the balloon. As the balloon gets bigger and bigger, more and more room is available, making the velocity the spheres orbitrate, giving them the velocity under the open pressurizing realm more freedom. We don't feel this change in the realm pressure because we reside in its grip, but we can measure it from a distance. The space it resides in is warped from the beginning but retains as emptiness. The speed a ship can travel through this warped ship can be measured as some quantum physics theory by this author Rod Kovetsky has deciphered. We have measured the speed between the galaxies and the velocity they expand at the universe's edge, and divide that distance and separation velocity by the speed of light, which equals 278,000 miles a second. Divide this sum by the speed of light equals 0.7 thousand miles a second. This is how we decipher the available universal speed limit in the equation sums. Albert Einstein deciphered the universal speed limit saying it was the speed of light because light measures at both levels a mass scale and a non-mass scale, which fits well with measuring particle masses but does nothing for the universe's speed limit. He deciphered these barriers with gravity and assumed empty space as static electricity. He also assumed his speed limit with a closed universe compartment, or as a bubble that has limited realm equilibrium of space. And it's not. We reside outside the balloon or bubble surface. Reading the quantum physics theory, you can discover the equations that prove this and why. Einstein also considered the zero-point vacuum energy of open space possibly by adding a zero to his light-made of ship. He never looked at squaring the velocity as in his equations, but others have, like Star Trek engine propulsion possibilities. The difference between general relativity and special relativity using time travel as a barrier traveling past light speed you will time travel is beyond the real truth. I have written 5 books using these deciphered changes found in relativity, and my 6th will include the realm of the universe, as I have mentioned in short length here, but more are shown. All my books decipher as theory with faster than light hypothesis deciphered equations and explain the differences and why. I think we have to acknowledge a new beginning in a commercial space environment future from Earth. I always wondered if God made a cat animal heaven like us. What you think? A compartment is like a closed box. Everything in it is subject to the environment in the box. New evidence in physics show we live outside this balloon, in a space environment that measures free and opally. All lifelike things all come to rest at some time, even particles. We reside on the blink of infinite enlightenment and have the ability to travel free of closed compartment limitations.